soy Natalie y les doy la bienvenida una vez más a Die Wanderlust. Bueno, hoy día he querido hacer un video un poco diferente y para esto he invitado a alguien muy especial para mí, César.
Hola a todos.
Bueno, hoy les queremos contar un poco acerca de nuestras cervezas favoritas en Europa y que son imprescindibles si ustedes tienen planeado venir aquí. Así que si te gustan las cervezas, no te vayas a perder este video. Bueno chicos, ahora sí empecemos. Hemos escogido 4 cervezas. 3 de estas son las favoritas de César y una es la mía. Vamos a hablarles un poco acerca de cada una de ellas. Bueno, en realidad César nos va a contar un poco acerca de cada una de estas y finalmente vamos a probarlas todas. Así que prepárense.
So I choose first Pilsner Urquell. It's a Czech Pils, which is one of my favorite beers. It's really good. Okay, so Pilsner Urquell, as I already said, is a beer from Czech Republic, but actually it's a beer from the city of Pilsen, because it's a city of Pilsen, and this beer is actually one of the first Pilsen. So they invented basically the Pilsen, that's why it's called also like that, this type of beer. And you know, there are Pils beers all over the world, you know.
De hecho, en Perú nosotros también tenemos una cerveza llamada Pilsen Callao.
Yeah, in Germany we have hundreds of Pilsen, but this is the original Pilsen. And it's a very funny story. When I was in the city, I did a tour of the brewery, and they told us the history of the beer. So many hundreds of years ago, or some couple of hundreds years ago, the people really from Pilsen really didn't like the beer. They were really annoyed, and so they went in front of the Ayuntamiento, in front of the Rathaus, in the city center, and they destroyed all the barrels with beer because they didn't like the quality. And
just for the quality?
Yeah,
they were crazy.
They were hating this beer, and they said to the mayor, "You have to make us good beer because otherwise you will have a big problem with us." And then the mayor, he realized he has a big problem, and then what he can do to make a better beer. So he was contacting a specialist from Germany, from Bavaria, from the south of Germany, a Braumeister. So this is called Braumeister, and he brought him to Pilsen to check to make a better beer. And he made then in the end the best Pilsen ever.
Yeah, and it's really delicious.
Okay, so the most important for this beer, and actually for each beer that we will drink today, is to have the special cups. Okay, so we open the beer and then we have to put all the beer in the glass. So basically we take the glass and we start to pour. And we have to be really slow and to be sure that there is enough foam. So it's really important to have foam in the glass because the foam will protect the taste of the beer. Otherwise the beer will be bitter, but if we have this foam, the beer will have the special taste. It will be really good. So now you see we have this much foam, which is really perfect. Yeah, that's it. That's it, how you put perfectly your Pilsner Urquell.
Y bueno, nosotros seguimos bebiendo la Pilsner porque en verdad es un super vaso. Y ahora estaba pensando en preguntarle a César, how much alcohol has this beer? Okay, so I just said it's a light beer, it's a perfect beer for summer, and it's also the lightest beer that we will try this evening. So it has just 4.4%. So it's really easy to drink. You can drink a lot. Maybe 10 in one night. Yeah, it happens. It can happen, of course, because if you are in Prague, for example, which is my favorite city in the world, you have a lot of bars, thousands of bars maybe, where they serve this beer, and it's also very interesting because they will never serve it from the bottle. They always have big tanks, like not a barrel of 50 liters, they have real tanks in the bars, in most of the bars, where they serve it from the draft, and this is the best taste. So it's even much better than from the bottle. But of course, if you're at home, you cannot have this tank of 2000 liters. So we have to deal with the bottles. And I remember when we were in Prague, I was so surprised about that. And you told me that in some factories they have underground tanks. That is true? Yeah, they bring basically the beer like you would bring gasoline into the gas station, so that they serve the beer from really big tanks. Because in Czech Republic, people drink a lot of beer. It's the country where the most beer is consumed in the world, even more than Germany. I don't know if maybe it's also some interesting information. Yeah, you showed me your favorite bar too in Prague. Was really interesting.
Yeah, you just drink beer after beer after beer, and you remember we had this note.
This is so particular.
70 beers, and they just make a line each time you drink one beer. You have like little beers drawn on your note, and each time you order new beers, they make a line and make a line. So I think my record was when we were 2 people, we had 13.
13?
Yeah.
My god, it's really a lot of beer. I remember when we were there, cuando nosotros estuvimos ahí, la gente tomaba en las calles y me gustó muchísimo eso, en verdad. Y de hecho puedes encontrar en un bar esta cerveza, en este vaso, hasta por 2 euros. Y los bares son bastante tradicionales. Eso me llamó muchísimo la atención y de hecho me gustó un montón.
Okay, so we started with the lightest beer. Now we should go gradually up. So we take the Franziskaner, the German Weissbier. So this beer, really, you should never drink from the bottle. Of course, we have a special cup for this as well. And actually for each Weizenbier, or Weissbier, like they say in Bavaria, you have a special cup, but of course you can take also a cup of another brand. But the most important thing with this kind of beer is to have a cup which is also half liter. So this kind of beer should always go complete in the cup. That's the most important rule.
De hecho, César tiene una super colección de vasos para cada tipo de cerveza.
Yeah, other people like to collect magnets. I like to collect cups
Of
beer, but cups of beer are really important. For example, in case of Franziskaner, and in case of all these Weizenbier, so Weizenbier means it's a beer with grain inside. You have the yeast at the bottom, Hefe in German. And so when we will pour it, I will show you that you need to do some special tricks with the bottle so that this Hefe, which is on the bottom, will go out and be in the glass. So basically it's exactly like when you have a juice, where you have to mix the juice, so you have the
mix it. Yes. Okay. De hecho, cada tipo de cerveza tiene un estilo de servir diferente y eso es lo que nos va a enseñar César hoy. Pero primero nos va a contar un poco acerca de esta cerveza.
Okay, so I choose Franziskaner, which is a beer directly from Munich. So really from the city, from the beautiful city of München. And as you can see, it has a monk on the on the etiquette. And so these are traditional beers which were also brewed back in the days. They were brewed in the monasteries where also monks were. And now, of course, this is a big factory really in the center of Munich. And this type of the beer is Weizenbier, which I told you is from the south of Germany, typical from south of Germany. All these kind of beers come from south of Germany, so all Bavaria. If you remember when we did a travel in Bavaria, each little city, each little village has its own.
Special one,
each one has its own.
Si tú vas a, en realidad si vas a diferentes ciudades de Alemania vas a poder encontrar distintos tipos de cerveza. De hecho les conté esto en un video, porque si viajas alrededor de Alemania, cada pueblito tiene una cerveza distinta.
And one funny fact about this kind of beers is, for instance, that if you go to South Germany and you order this kind of beer in a restaurant or in a bar, you have to say Weissbier, like white beer.
Yeah.
And white beer, but if you are in Nordrhein-Westfalen, in Mönchengladbach, or in Düsseldorf, where we live, exactly, if you say Weissbier, nobody will understand what you want.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they will say, Weizenbier, which is Weizenbier, which means beer of grain, because it's made out of grain.
Pero bueno, también hablando de este tema, aquí atrás pueden encontrar la forma exacta en la que deben servir la cerveza, que ahora César nos va a explicar.
Okay, so there is a whole ritual about serving this beer, which, as you said, is also on the back. I also had to learn this. So we open the beer, of course. Then we take the glass, which has to be a glass where all the beer will fit in, so 0.5 liters. We put the glass like this, so 45 degrees, and we start to pour slow. So we don't have to have a lot of foam in this case. It's different than with Pilsner Urquell. We really put slow, 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 slow. And up until here, but we have to leave some beer inside, so there has to be some some beer inside. Because the funny thing about this beer is the grain is on the bottom, so we need to move around the bottle like this, so that we can make this this yeast mix with the beer, and then we put the rest slowly. Yeah, this is how you put the Weissbier. I have my Weizenbier. Now it's your turn.
Okay. And so I need to necesito abrir la cerveza primero, and then I need to make like that.
Slower. Okay, now you have a little on the bottom.
I have like that.
Now we start to move. Yeah.
Necesito mover un poquito la colita de la cerveza until the end.
Exactly. Now you have all the yeast is coming down. Okay, let's see.
Okay, I'm not bad.
No, perfect. Now we can drink.
It's been good.
Sehr gut. Prost.
De hecho, esta cerveza siempre me emborracha a la primera. No es tan fuerte, pero de hecho a mí me choca muchísimo. I didn't ask you, how much alcohol has this beer?
Okay, so it's a bit stronger than Pilsner Urquell, where we started. This one is a typical beer, like it has 5% of alcohol, like almost all the beers. The difference is, I think, because you have this yeast, and you have this, because it's made of grain, the aroma is more intense. It's a different type of beer. It's not like Pilsen, and it's really intense smell. And I think that's also the reason why after you drink one, you can get drunk.
It's because of that, really.
I don't have this problem, but yeah, you need exercise. And in Germany, you can have Weizenbier. You can have Weizen Cola, like they put cola in the Weizenbier, or you can have Bananenweizen.
Yeah,
which means
here mix it everything.
Yeah, they put banana juice in the Weizen.
La famosa cerveza de banana con Weizenbier. La diferencia de colores es una milésima porque esta es como que más blanca por la banana, pero está muy buena. Un poquito rara, pero está buena.
So we even have cola with Fanta together, and you can buy in the supermarket.
Cola with Fanta I did in Peru too.
Yeah, but
With Fanta, with Inca Cola, with everything. I don't know, no sé si ustedes alguna vez mezclaron Coca-Cola con Fanta o con Inca Cola. Alguna vez yo mezclé porque mi mamá compró así un montón de gaseosas pequeñitas en la época que existían. La Coca-Cola pequeñita, la Fanta y todo esto. Y era buenazo.
Yeah, but here you can buy it. So there is a bottle of Schwab, which means it's cola with Fanta put together in a bottle.
Ok chicos, ya estamos recontra sazonados y ahora viene la tercera cerveza.
Yeah, so we go gradually up. So we had Pilsner Urquell, which was really light. Then we had Franziskaner, which was 5%, so typical beer. Now we go to the strong shit. And this one is the Duvel
Yeah.
from Belgium.
Tell us a little bit about this beer, because I really love this beer.
Yeah, so Duvel, as you can see here, it's actually the name of devil in Belgium. So in the Belgian language, in the Flemish language, it would mean devil, and it's called like that because it's a very strong beer.
Very strong. How much alcohol has this beer?
It has 8.5%.
Wow.
Usually alcohol is a good transporter for taste. So unfortunately, if a beer has more alcohol, it would also be more tasty if it's a good one.
That is crazy.
And Duvel, of course, it's a great beer. It's my favorite Belgian beer. It's also kind of a commercial beer because you can find it in all the shops, so it's not very special. So you have it also in Peru, I understand.
Yeah.
In bars you can find
But
it.
it's very expensive. I don't know. No sé si a ustedes les ha pasado, pero por ejemplo cuando yo fui a un bar me costó 24 soles tomarme esta. De hecho, valió la pena porque es riquísima y se la recomiendo a donde vayan, pero tómenla en su vasito porque es otro sabor, como dice César. Pero sí, es muy cara. Aquí en Alemania es muy complicada encontrarla. It's really difficult to find in Germany.
Yeah, you have some special bars which have like hundreds of beers where you can always find this usually. And you have also some special shops or special Getränkemarkt, like special drink shops for drinks. where you can buy this beer, but it's always like 2.50, 3 euros in the shop, which is a lot. So that's why we always go to Holland or to Belgium to buy this beer directly from there. Okay, but just a little bit about the history. Because you told me about the
that
history.
is an important thing.
So actually, why are beers from Belgium so strong? Yeah. So actually, Belgium is really famous for its beers. I also didn't know that, but I learned it because I had exchanges with a lot of French people and Belgian people, which told me about this kind of beers. And in Belgium you can find thousands of types of beers. So Belgium is really the country of beer diversity. You have a lot of beers, and the funny fact is that a lot of these beers are very strong. And I was wanted to read why are these beers so strong. And there's a funny history about that because I don't know, like 100 years ago, maybe in the 20s or the 30s, there was a problem with alcohol in Belgium. So they made, like in USA, a prohibition. So it means you cannot drink any more strong alcohol. Strong alcohol was forbidden from bars and maybe also for home. I don't know that, but I know that it was forbidden for bars. So they couldn't sell any whiskey or vodka or everything. Nothing. Just beer and wine. I think wine too, but definitely beer. And so the people said, okay, if we cannot serve, if we can serve just beer because this is the law, then we will make the beer strong. That was the reason actually why beer in Belgium is so strong, because people wanted still to drink strong things and they couldn't drink anymore like strong alcohol, so they made the beer strong. And this kind of beer, like Duvel, as you said, it's 8.5%. We also have like chimay, as you say, which is also very delicious, but it's too strong for me.
10%, no?
Yeah, 9.5 I think, or 10.
Like 10.
Yeah, 10% is crazy.
It's really crazy, this beer.
Yeah, so you drink one and after that it's like drinking wine.
And about Duvel, how many?
Duvel, I like it a lot, but of course I try to drink maximum 2. And after that it's okay because it's a beer that you have to enjoy. It's not like a beer that you drink like Pilsner Urquell if you are thirsty. So in summer when we have like 40 degrees like this week, outside you cannot drink Duvel, of course, because it will make you crazy. So Duvel is a beer that you drink like wine. You have your glass, your special glass, of course. We will come back to that.
That's the one.
And you enjoy your glass, and you see a lot of people in France or in Belgium where there is this culture of drinking beer, where they have the beautiful glass of Duvel on the table and they drink like 2 hours on the same glass. So it's not like drinking beer like in Germany.
Yeah, because it's stronger anyway.
Yeah, but it's kind of culture. So you don't drink wine, or they drink wine as well, of course, but you drink, you enjoy the beer. So it's a beer that you enjoy.
It's so special.
Of course, yeah. So not only the alcohol is important, also the hops in the beer. So they have special hops, of course. And Duvel has also a special edition, which is also very hard to find, which is called Duvel Triple Hop.
Oh.
Like it's like a triple, and triple means always like they have 3 types of hops in the beer, and every year they make a new recipe. And this beer is always also in the supermarket in Belgium you find, or in Holland, for 2 euros a bottle, so it's really expensive. But it's really delicious. It's a really dangerous beer, that's why the name of Duvel.
Duvel.
Okay, so of course we have again the Duvel glass, the special glass for the beer. Which in Belgium is really special because every type of beer has its special glass. Now we put the glass like 45 degrees, like for the other beer too. Put the beer into the glass. And this beer has a lot of carbon dioxide, as you can see. It's a lot of foam. And you can see, so the tradition says that the foam has to be until the middle of the Duvel logo. And if the beer is coming up until the middle of the Duvel logo, then you pour it perfectly. Now I have my Duvel in my glass, so now it's your turn to pour it.
Okay, I will start. First, I need to open the beer. After this time in Germany, después de ese tiempo en Alemania voy a ser toda una especialista en cervezas. Bueno, tengo que colocar como que 45 grados. No tengo equilibrio, pero bueno, ahí, ¿no es cierto? There is good.
Almost, yeah.
Almost, no está en el medio porque en verdad debería estar aquí.
Yeah.
Ahí.
So the middle of the room.
Aquí es donde debería estar. Pero bueno, entonces una vez que ya está así, empiezo a servir por aquí, ¿no?
Yeah. You have to put everything in the glass.
But it's so complicated for me.
But it's good. So the most important is that you have a lot of foam, like here.
Es importante la espuma aquí.
Yeah.
Yo no tengo
Perfect.
nada igual.
Because the foam will go down, like here.
Ya. En esta cerveza, como dice César, es importante la espuma para que no pierda el sabor. Bueno, voy a esperar un poco que mi... Pero mal no estoy. Todavía no aprendo
You're perfect.
bien. Todavía no aprendo bien, pero... A ver, tantas cervezas, tanta información. Es demasiado para mí.
Okay, so
Prost.
Prost.
Prost, chicos. No puedo tomar porque voy a terminar con las barbitas, pero ok.
Doesn't matter. The taste is amazing, no? You didn't taste it yet.
No, not yet. Now I think so.
And
Ya.
it's good.
Como les dije, chicos, esta cerveza es una de mis favoritas, si no es mi favorita, porque tiene un sabor bien concentrado.
They even have it on the glass. They put the art of serving this beer. So it's written 45 degrees.
En realidad, como dice César, cada una de estas cervezas y todas las cervezas en general tienen una forma artística de ser servidas y creo que no es por gusto. Ok, chicos, ya hemos terminado 3 cervezas, o sea, ya se imaginan cómo al menos yo estoy. Bueno, ahora viene mi favorita, que es la Lefe. Pero antes César nos va a contar un poquito acerca de esta cerveza.
Yeah, so Leffe is also, or Lef actually, it's also Belgian beer from Belgium, and it's actually the most famous Belgian beer. So you can find Lef wherever in this world. In every place, in every more special bar you will find Lef. It's a beer that is not so strong. It has 6.6% alcohol. For a Belgian beer it's not so strong. For normal beers, of course, it's stronger. And it has a long history, so at least here on the etiquette it's written 1240, so it's a very old beer, and it was also made by monks, like we had Franziskaner from Germany, and we have now Lef, so it seems that the monks had really this hobby to make beers.
Yeah.
If they didn't do beers, they did wine usually, but it's a beer made by monks, and yeah. We should try it. It's of course it's not my favorite because maybe it's too commercial for me, for my taste. It's good. It's a beer that you can find in bars. Even in Mönchengladbach you can find Lef.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why I'm saying it's more commercial. But yeah, of course it's a great beer. It's Belgian beer is usually always great.
No, that's true.
And yeah, let's try this. Okay, of course we have a special Lef glass, and we have the Lef beer. Usually Lef is just a small bottle, like 0.33, and we have the Lef glass. We just pour it. Actually, there is no big history about how you have to pour it, but of course you have to have a lot of foam in it, not so much, and you have to put all the beer in the glass. So this is the easiest from all the beers we tested right now, and yeah. Let's enjoy. For a Belgian beer, it is a light beer. Like Belgian beers, we learned there are strong beers. Czech beers are light beers, where you can drink a lot and it's good for the summer. And German beers, yeah, you have to be careful with Weissbier or with Weizen because it can go up in your head. But they're also not so strong. With Belgian beers, you always have to be careful.
Bueno, chicos, después de haber probado todas estas cervezas, solo puedo decir que sigo pensando que son las mejores. Mi favorita, por supuesto, la Duvel. Pero de hecho, esta es solamente nuestra opinión. Si ustedes vienen aquí o vayan a donde sea y prueben estas cervezas, van a elegir cuál es su favorita. De hecho, para nosotros son las mejores.
Of course, beers in Europe are the best.
Pero nada, chicos, espero que les haya gustado este video. No olviden suscribirse al canal y
Suscríbese.
de todas maneras. Y los espero en el siguiente video. ¡Tschüss!
Tschüss and Prost.
En recontra. Prost.